All right, we are back here again with week number 6 of Pete's Power Rankings. Yes, I go through, I watch 99% of all these games. I'm taking notes, I'm keeping tabs, I'm ranking all these teams from 1 through 32. We're over a quarter of the way through the NFL season. It's going by way too fast, but it looks like the teams at the top here are starting to cement themselves, and the teams at the bottom are locking themselves in to the Caleb Williams contest. But everybody else in the middle feels like there's a lot of movement, a lot of flawed teams in this league. But hey, maybe teams start getting things figured out. There's a lot of season left, and one of these teams catch fire and make some noise. But let's go ahead and dive on into it. Your bottom teams of the league, 32 through 23, there's a good chance 6 of these teams are going to be looking to cement their spot at the bottom of the draft to go get themselves a new franchise quarterback. But let's get into it. We got a new bottom team this week. Okay, welcome to the bottom, your Carolina Panthers. I'd like to say congratulations, but guess what? They don't even have a first round pick. They spent it to go get Bryce Young. Now, Bryce Young looked a little bit better this week, but this team is bad. Frank Reich, man, I'm starting to get worried about this. There are not offensive weapons for their young quarterback. Their defense that used to be the best part of this team is banged up and bad at this point. They're awful. Patriots, you're garbage. Could the Bill Belichick era be over? Mac Jones is not an NFL quarterback. Broncos, good job. Good job, Sean Payton. Good job. Giants, they're falling apart. Now, they are going to get Saquon back. Maybe that helps them out, but this offensive line is horrendous. You got Evan Neal talking about fans, talking shit, and his ass would be flipping burgers if he wasn't 6'8" and 300 pounds. Commanders getting blown out by the Bears. Good God. Good for you, Chicago. You ended your 14-game losing streak or whatever. Nice to get a win. And now you got the Vikings minus Justin Jefferson and 10 days off to prepare. We could see a winning streak for the Bears. Arizona coming back to earth against Cincinnati. Tennessee, I don't get this Tennessee team. I don't think they're good, but they play hard. Vegas, nice win against Green Bay, but Vegas, maybe Jimmy G being back looked a little bit better on offense. And the Saints, I'll bump you up for beating the Patriots, but the Patriots are just awful. It was nice to see the offense actually do something for once this season because it's been dreadful. So maybe the Saints are trending in the right direction. But let's get into our middle teams here, teams 22 through 16. Okay, 22 through 16, your middle tier teams. There's going to be a lot of movement in this area. I think like the Jets, I got them up here. Have the Jets found something? Maybe Breece Hall was awesome against a bad team. The Packers, I'm going to hammer the Packers. Jordan Love ain't it, man. You had 11 days to prepare. You scored 13 points against a Raiders team that really isn't good whatsoever. Just 3 interceptions. He looked awful. Things aren't perfect for him. He's bad. The offensive line, blah, blah, blah. The defense is still okay, but still, they lost that game to Vegas, which was awful. Houston, your defense let you down, but you also didn't capitalize on opportunities. Forced 2 turnovers in that game against Atlanta in the red area, in the scoring area, kicked 2 field goals. You didn't get touchdowns until they late, but CJ Stroud is it. He is your franchise guy, has yet to throw an interception, led them on what should have been a game-winning drive at the end of the game for a touchdown. So all great things in Houston. Minnesota here. Minnesota is the exact opposite of last year. They were a really bad team with a really good record. Now they're a pretty good team with an awful record. 1-4, but they've played both teams in the Super Bowl as tight as can be. Lost those games. They're 1-4 in one-score games. It's just a train wreck for this team. Just bad luck. And now Justin Jefferson hitting the IR. This is a team that could free fall and possibly be making move for a quarterback. Cincinnati back on the winning track here. Jamar Chase is always open, apparently. 3 touchdowns for him. Bengals, I'm still a little concerned. Joe Burrow cannot move in the pocket. He had a couple of plays, but you can really tell the calf is bothering him. But if they can protect him, and like we know that like Joe isn't moving, we're going to call plays to benefit him, get the running game going. Maybe the Bengals find themselves back in it. Pittsburgh, big win against the Ravens. Ravens really shit the bed on that one. They threw that game away. The offense is horrendous. Matt Canada still needs to go. He almost was mad that Kenny Pickett threw the game-winning touchdown to George Pickens. You could see the video in the highlight. It's just, that's a dumpster fire on offense. Defense really showed well, but the Ravens offense maybe not so great. Atlanta got the win. I was really worried about this team. They got back from London. They did a good job. Desmond Ridder actually threw the ball. They threw the ball effectively. And Bijan Robinson, man, he's a freak. He's awesome. One of the best backs in the league right now. So Atlanta's teetering on possibly, getting back in that winning streak because they don't lose home games. Desmond Ridder undefeated at home in college and in the NFL so far. So it's kind of crazy how that works. But let's get to what everyone came here for, your top 15 teams. And we got a brand new member to the top 15 club in a team that is as spunky as can be. Okay, number 15, the Indianapolis Colts. Yes, the Colts. Look, this team is a feisty squad. I know Anthony Richardson is their guy for the future. At least they think he is, but he can't sustain the way he plays. He's now out for multiple weeks with an AC joint injury. He's already missed games in time with a concussion. He just can't play the type of football he plays in today's NFL. We've now seen it. The running quarterback experiment was an explosion we had. It's great for like 1 to 2 years, and then the wear and tear of this league just gets on people. But Gardner Minshew is no slouch at backup. He's been a long-time backup in this league. He's won football games, and he's doing the right stuff. This defense plays pretty good. They have a good pass rush to compensate for not a great back end. The skill position guys that we were kind of worried about, Michael Pittman's been pretty good. They've stepped up, and the running back tandem now, Jonathan Taylor back. He's paid. He's happy. But Zach Moss said, screw it. I'm going to go for $163 and 2 tutties and 195 all-purpose. Who cares? I don't get why you pay Jonathan Taylor if you got a back that's going to do that. But if they're going to run a two-headed monster out there, try and shorten games, let Gardner Minshew make the right decisions, facilitate the ball. We're going to work down the field. We're not going to make mistakes. And the defense is going to force teams to have to throw the ball against them, and they can get after them with the pass rush. I think this Colts team is interesting. They have a good record. They're 3-2. They have good wins in the division. This is a team that can maybe make a little noise, get a little steam. Shane Steichen, A+ job so far. He seems to be the guy. The Eagles offense finally got back on track this week, but it took him a while to replace what he gave to them, and he's doing a good job with the Colts team that we all felt was maybe a bottom 3 team in this league. So good for them, good for the Colts. But let's go up, number 14. I hate this coach. We all know who it is. But they have a huge, huge opportunity this week. Okay, number 14, your Los Angeles Chargers. Chargers run a bye this week, but they're going to get bumped up because of what everybody else in front of them did. Sometimes it works that way. I don't love doing it, but that's just how it worked this week. Chargers, huge, huge game this week. They got the Cowboys at home on Monday night. This is a revenge game. Kellen Moore, your offensive coordinator, let go by the Cowboys, said he was the problem. Cowboys offense not looking great without him, honestly. Not looking great without him. So this is a huge spot for the Chargers, but Brandon Staley's going to do best he can to try and lose this team games. Defense isn't great. The offense has been awesome. They didn't miss a step with losing Mike Williams. Maybe Austin Eckler gets back this week from his ankle injury. That would be a huge boost for this offense. They're facing a good defense, or at least what we feel like is a great defense. It's a very interesting matchup for them. I think the Chargers are a great team roster-wise. I just hate their head coach. Maybe it feels like they want to fire Brandon Staley and give Kellen Moore the head coaching job, but they just don't have the right excuse. Yes, Minnesota left them off the hook. The Raiders let them off the hook. And I'm sure the Cowboys might let him off the hook. Or if not, hopefully he gets fired, because this is the biggest problem with this team. It's their head coach. This should be a top 5 team, top 6 team. With the talent they have, it's just so frustrating. But 14 for now for the Chargers. Okay, another team on a bye that gets a one-spot boost, your Tampa Bay Buccaneers. What can I say? Baker, money maker. Baker loves playing as the underdog. They already have big road division win at the Saints. That's a team that you feel like could be pushing them for this division down the stretch. But they play good ball, man. It's still a large chunk of that team that won on that Super Bowl run, that went to the playoffs last year. Now, they do have some injuries picked up. Now, hopefully the bye cleared some things up. Mike Evans picked up a thing. Godwin, they're a little banged up, but the bye helps. So we'll see what the injury report says for them this week. But good defense. Baker's making plays. He loves to play when he's an underdog with a chip on his shoulder. He runs. Sometimes he sticks his nose in the dirt. Sometimes it gets him in trouble, but he's finally healthy. He's playing to a good level, and the defense is making life really, really tough for some teams. This is a Buccaneers team that definitely has a set ceiling. This is not a Super Bowl team, but this is a team that could definitely win this division. grit some things out, get into a playoffs. And who knows, maybe Baker wins you a playoff game. He's done it before as an underdog. That's where he thrives. So this is an interesting Bucks team that I think can make the postseason, but we'll keep him at 13 here for now. Okay, number 12, I'm going to knock the Rams down. Look, the Rams played a great Eagles team. I was just concerned at how they got physically dominated. They were dominated physically, and they're starting to get up against it now. There were two other teams in their division that are far better than them. It's going to make the playoffs a lot more difficult for this team. Good to see Cooper Kupp back, though. This offense was awesome for like 2 drives when Cooper Kupp back in. He got 5 catches for 50-plus yards on the first drive, and then they found Puka Nacua. They got a touchdown. It was looking like, oh man, the Rams offense is about to be a lethal weapon here against a bad Eagles secondary, but they kind of got pushed around up front. The Eagles defensive line asserted themselves. Rams still can't block people. That's a big problem with this team. And the Rams defense is not that Super Bowl defense. They got ground into dust from this Eagles offense. They just matriculated the ball down the field, tore them up. I'm a little bit concerned about this Rams team, what their long-term prospects are. I think they're fun. I think they do have a decent future here. I mean, it's like you got to get the offensive line fixed. Maybe Aaron Donald does retire and the defense is bad, but this offense still has a lot of juice left in it, I think, and it will be a team that can score some points and make other teams uncomfortable if they do get a nice lead and let the defensive pass rush tee off on them. But we're going to keep the Rams here at 12 for right now. Okay, number 11, no change on a bye. The Cleveland Browns. Browns on a bye. They kind of punted the game before the bye, which I hated against the Ravens. Deshaun Watson's going to be back. Let's see what this team looks like. This is a really good defense. Got a little bit exposed, but it got exposed because their offense was so horrendous with DTR at quarterback. They would just turn the ball over. They couldn't move the ball, and it put their defense in bad spots. A lot of time spent on the field. So we'll see if the Browns can bounce back off the bye. They have a huge matchup. They got the Niners coming to town this week. This is a big game. This is a big game for the Brownies. Off a bye at home, top team in the league possibly coming into your stadium. You got to show me a good performance. You don't have to win this game. You got to show me you can play with these boys if I'm going to ever take the Browns seriously. So Browns at 11 right here. Let's just see if Watson really is that big of a factor coming back on the offense, which I think he is. They're going to put in some more stuff, make him even more comfortable with them, and the defense has to rebound, which I do think they can. They do have a nasty, nasty unit. Okay, welcome back to the top 10, your Jacksonville Jaguars. Go to London. The season's on the precipice. You're 1-2. It's looking like a disaster. And you come back 3-2, back-to-back wins across the pond for the Jaguars. Now, I'm not going to super overvalue. They beat a really good Bills team, but they've been in London for all week. The Bills came in late. It shows like that's a working thing. You can play back-to-back games in London, get adjusted. The big question is, how are the Jags going to react from that trip? That's going to be the million-dollar question. What are the Jags doing after this trip? Because we've never seen stuff like this before. It'll be interesting to see. But it seems like the defense is playing good. This is a solid defensive unit. They make life difficult for most of that game. I know they gave up a couple of scores late to Buffalo to let them kind of get back into that game, or at least put the game in doubt a little bit. Offense was solid. Travis Etienne with a big day. I like that. I don't love this play calling. They got a new play caller this year. I think that we figured out the problem is they got new play calling. There just hasn't been any rhythm. There hasn't been anything nice there. Maybe they're just grinding things out, starting to work out the kinks. It looked a lot smoother against Buffalo, a good defensive unit. Now, I know they lost Milano in the game, and the Jags probably should have done a little bit more. It was nice to see Calvin Ridley back out there. I just need to see more from this Jags offense. The offensive line is banged up. It's not very good, but Lawrence looked a lot better these last 2 games. They're looking confident at least, and they're sitting here right here in first place in the AFC South. They're right where they need it to be, so it's all good for the Jags right now. I think this is a team that could trend upward. I don't suspect they're going to fall back into their losing ways, but like I said, teams 9 through kind of 15, just kind of everybody's kind of all jumbled up here. Okay, number 9, I'm going to knock them down one spot, the Baltimore Ravens. I wanted to kind of knock them down more, but I just didn't feel super right. Ravens fans, you got on me for having them at 8 last week. What are you going to say now? This was an awful, awful performance by the Ravens against Pittsburgh. That's a game they should have won. That's a game they should have blown out Pittsburgh. Now, I know the rivalry, the Tomlin, the this and the that. The Ravens just, man, they miss opportunity after opportunity. Their wide receivers can't catch a football. It's unbelievable. They just drop everything. Their receivers have hands of stone. It's crazy. The offense, I know you're missing open guys, probably could have had some touchdowns, but again, the offense is so like run Lamar heavy. It's just not a dynamic passing offense. They haven't developed a dynamic passing offense like other teams you see in this league. Now, the Ravens defense did a really good job most of this game. They made things difficult. They got after Pickett, but they folded when they needed to. They let go the touchdown on the game-winning drive. Can't have that happen here. Ravens are a team that just like, I want so much more for this team. They feel like they're so much better than they actually are. It's just very frustrating to watch. I think we're going to end up being in the same old cycle of the Ravens. This is a good team that wins games, probably gets into the postseason, and they're a one-and-done team. That's just honestly what I feel about this Ravens team more. They could have made a huge statement with back-to-back road wins in the division, and they would have had 3 road wins in the division. They would have won at Cincy, at Pittsburgh, and at Cleveland. That's dominating control of the division. But they let Pittsburgh off the hook, and now I just kind of got them here at 9. Let's see. The Ravens, I'm sure, will figure it out and go on a nice little run here. It's just, so frustrating to watch this Ravens team. Okay, number 8, another team on a bye, but I'm going to pump them up. The Seahawks. I like the Seahawks team, man. Let's see how they feel. They coming off the bye. They got a nice little win streak going here. Getting healthy. That's good. I think the biggest thing with this team is their pass defense was horrendous. They had a get-right game against the Giants. Let's see if they really do get right. But if they can get that back end figured out, because this was a team that was really good on the back end and couldn't stop the run. They're doing a good job stopping the run this year, but they can't stop the pass. If they can get that secondary figured out, this is a solid defensive unit. And the offense, they're solid, man. They have weapons galore. They have Geno. Geno's not going to turn the ball over. He's going to facilitate the rock, get it to his playmakers. And they got an awesome running back in Kenneth Walker in a run game. And Zach Charbonnet is no slouch as the second-tier guy. I just like this Seahawks team as an overall team. This is kind of like exactly where they are. We talked about it a few weeks ago. We had them at like 15-14. I said this is a team that can slide up to 10-8 area. And I think 8 is probably where they stay for most of this season. They're going to float around 8, 9, 7, maybe 10. I think this is the Seahawks spot. This is a solid unit. This is a team that's probably going to grab a wild card. Probably get bounced in the first round. Maybe they win a wild card game. Just depends how their matchup is. But I think this is a good Seahawks team. Just not a great Seahawks team, but they're trending in the right direction. They have a lot of young pieces. They did a great job in the draft 2 years ago. It'll be fun to see what the next phase of the Seahawks team looks like if Pete Carroll is going to say he is the oldest coach in the NFL, but he feels like a young man chomping on his gum. But for right now, Seahawks at 8, and I think this is a solid squad. Okay, number 7, I'm going to dock the Dallas Cowboys here. Just a horrendous performance Sunday night in kind of a statement type game at the 49ers. 49ers are the benchmark in the NFL right now. And you didn't have to win this game. Like I said, you had to show that you can hang with these teams. 2 years in a row in the playoffs, you've been bounced by them. This is a revenge game. And they got absolutely waxed, run off the field. And all the things I've talked about really reared their ugly head. This is a front-running team. They're the best team in the NFL when they're up by 10 points. They feel like the worst team in the NFL when they're down by 10 points. They are such front-runners. They'll blow teams out, but if they get into a dogfight, they just don't have it. The defense got exposed. They shut down the pass rush. The 2 teams that have really slowed down this Cowboys pass rush in the Niners and the Cardinals have both beaten this team. If they don't let Micah Parsons completely wreck their lives, the secondary just does not hold up. George Kittle had a day, 3 touchdowns. The Van Der Esch now, he's got a neck injury. He could be out sometimes, but he wasn't covering anybody out there in the middle. So this is a defense that is kind of teetering on like, are they just so one-dimensional? And if we can slow down this insane pass rush just a little bit, the rest of that unit is no good. And then on the offense, Dak Prescott, 3 interceptions, back to Dak-tastic. He said he wasn't throwing 10 picks this year. He's up to 4. He's got 4 in the last 2 games. He's been bad, or 4 in the last 3 games. I guess he threw it against Arizona. Whatever. He looks awful. We kind of know Dak's ceiling now. He just doesn't have it. there's no excuses. You have a decent offensive line. You have a great running game. You have good wide receivers. CeeDee Lamb is good. He's better than most people in that secondary in San Francisco. He wasn't creating separation. He wasn't just like, feed me, feed me, feed me. The play calling is vanilla as can be. Mike McCarthy has got a Waffle House menu play sheet, and it's the most vanilla offense you could ever think of. I just can't stand the way that he calls plays, and I think Cowboy fans agree. They're teetering on like a point of like, oh God, what's going to happen here? They're at the Chargers this week. You're playing Kellen Moore. This is a must-win game for the Cowboys. You cannot drop another game against a good team because I think this is a team that could let things spiral. The defense could turn on the offense. Everything could blow up in their face. I think this is a huge, huge game for them. But if you win on Monday night at the Chargers, we get back into business as usual with the Cowboys. Clearly, you're the second best team in your division. Clearly, I think you're one of the third or fourth best teams in the conference. It's just, we know what this Cowboys team is. They're going to run up big scores, and they're going to lose close games against better opponents or good opponents. So, tough spot right now for the Cowboys here, but I got them at 7. I still think they're better than most teams in this league. Number 6, I got the Detroit Lions. People were not buying the Lions stock like there was some hype. This is a damn good football team. Ran it up against the Carolina Panthers, and the creativity and the play calling has just been outstanding this year. We talked about this. They kept their offensive coordinator and play caller, and it made a world of difference. He came back, and the offense is humming. Now, he's going to be gone after this year. He's going to go get a head coaching job. But Dan Campbell got his boys where they need to be. The defense is playing a lot better than where they were. They've starting to turn into a unit that's like, okay, maybe they give us some yards, maybe they give us some scores, but they get after quarterbacks. They force turnovers, a couple of early turnovers against Carolina in like the first 4 drives of the game. I think they had 2 turnovers. They're just ferocious up front. Aiden Hutchinson is a dude out there on the edge. Not necessarily the greatest pass rusher in the world. He's still a great pass rusher, but he ain't like those game wreckers, but he does everything else so well. He tackles great in the run game. He covers screens. He's athletic. He makes plays. Got great hands. Got a couple of interceptions. And this Lions offense is humming. Like I said, Montgomery, Sam Laporta, welcome to the club. Now they lost. They didn't even have Amon-Ra this week. No Sun God, dominant. Let's see what happens when he gets back. Not much from Jameson Williams. Josh Reynolds had a nice day. And Jared Goff is lights out at home in particular. This is a Lions team. The division they're in is trash right now. The NFC North is bad. You have 2 terrible teams, a decent team with a terrible record. So they should win this division going away now. That means a home playoff game for the Lions. First division title in 30 years. And who knows, maybe they start making a push for the 1 seed in the NFC. The schedule is not very difficult for them, and I think this is a great squad. So I got the Lions here at number 6. Okay, at number 5, not separating them by much, I got the Miami Dolphins back on track, got the Giants at home, and they waxed them. Good job for the Dolphins to get back their shattering offensive records. We know. Now, the biggest concern is we saw what is their kryptonite, a physical team that on defense that can move them off the mark, disrupt the timing, get rid of your reads. Tua turns into a mad quarterback. Tua had 2 picks again against the Giants there. One of them a pick 6, like a 99-yard, 100-yard pick 6, and they didn't really even bat an eye. The defense was a lot better this week. Now, they played a horrible offense, but that's what I want to see from a bad defense, that you can really just beat up on bad offenses. That's a good start for me. Look, I think the Dolphins do have their limits come January, but this is a fun team. This is a well-coached team. They're super explosive. Now, Devon Achane might be going on the IR here. He nicked up his knee. He's going to be out a couple of games. That's going to hurt a little bit, but they got Mostert still, a solid as can be running back, and maybe they just go back to the passing game more. They've asserted that we can run the ball on people. Now maybe they're just going to throw it a little bit more. Like this Dolphins team, like I said, we kind of know what's going to be able to beat this team when it's all said and done, but they're right there in first place in the division as it stands. So I think this is going to be a fun team. I think they're going to get it done. I think there is a ceiling for this team, but they're exciting. They're great to watch, and they're awesome if you have anybody on the Dolphins in fantasy. Okay, number 4, I'm going to drop the Bills 2 spots here. Coming back down to earth now, it's a tough spot for them. Going to London, playing a team that's already been there for a week plus. and they got beat. They didn't look sharp on offense. The biggest concern from this team is the injuries are piling up on this defense. Matt Milano done for the season, it sounds like, getting a knee injury. They lost Tre'Davious White the week before. The injuries are piling up on this defense, a defensive unit that couldn't possibly think we would see this again. And here we are again. The offense was sluggish. Stephon Diggs threw about 14 temper tantrums on the sideline. That's not great. He's just a ticking time bomb. But hey, Gabe Davis, a touchdown in 4 straight games. He had a big game. That's a legit number two guy right now. Maybe that helps things out a little bit. I'm not going to put too much stock into this loss, but I want to see what the Bills do from here. Josh Allen, again, not super sharp, but back from London. Let's see how it goes. It could just be one of those weird blip games. It sucks that they lost a home game because there's a real home field advantage in Buffalo, but I got the Bills here at number 4. I think my biggest concern is the injuries now along that defense, that this defense is going to turn into like a meh unit, which is what we've seen in the past few years. And that's what gets them beat in the playoffs every year. Defense can't stop anybody. Offense gets stopped once or twice. And it's just like, here we go again with the Bills. So sorry, Bills fans. I think you're down here to number 4. Okay, up a spot here. I got the Chiefs up to number 3. Looking more like the old Chiefs. Now, it's still not as crisp as it needs to be. They don't have any wide receivers. I mean, they had guys that could not get open. And the Chiefs' magic continues to roll. Bailed out multiple times, 3rd and 18. Mahomes flails it up, plays made. Mahomes just instills a belief in players. It's kind of insane. When he needs to have a play from somebody, he has it. Now, everybody held their breath when Travis Kelce went down. Looked like it was going to be a high ankle sprain. He was frustrated. He came back in. It's a low ankle sprain. So he is questionable. They do play Thursday night this week against Denver. I expect him to sit out. They don't need Travis Kelce to beat this Broncos team. Patrick Mahomes could probably beat this team with 11 other guys from the YMCA. He'll figure it out. Not a good Broncos team whatsoever. And they do got a good little thing on their side. We've seen it a few weeks now. They're going to get the benefit of the doubt when it comes to the officiating. That's a big help. A lot of people not too happy with the Chiefs right now. But if you have the best quarterback on the planet, you have a great head coach, you have a tight end when healthy, is one of the best tight ends to ever play this game, a solid defensive unit, one of the best pass rushers, and you got that little bit of extra on your side. This is going to be a very tough team to beat. Currently sitting at number 1 in the AFC, and everybody worried about the Chiefs. They're exactly where we are. Are we going to have another Arrowhead Invitational? Okay, number 2, I got the Philadelphia Eagles here at 2. Awesome performance from the Eagles. Eagles have been struggling for the first 4 weeks. It's kind of been ugly. It's kind of been sloppy, but hey, they were 4-0. Not this week. They took it to the Rams physically, just grinded them into a pulp. They established the run game. The passing game was solid. The defense muddied this thing up, and they controlled this game. They won it by a nice score, and it really didn't feel as close as it was in that second half. They just dominated this game. Now, talk to me about the brotherly shove. I hate that play. It's the stupidest play. Needs to be banned. But the Eagles run it to perfection, and they're going to keep taking advantage of it. Gutsy call by Sirianni. Ran that play with just 2 seconds left in the half, and that kind of cemented this game. They punched it in for 7. They took the lead back, and they just never looked back from there. Another strong performance from the Eagles this week, and I'm really going to be like, okay, the Eagles are fully back here. This is a good team. This is solid all around. It's quite not as good as last year, but maybe they're going to work out the kinks, like I said, the first few weeks that they had, and get themselves into postseason Super Bowl shape in the right time, because there's no rush right now. We're early October. They don't have a loss. Eagles, I've been feeling great right now with how bad my team has looked all around as compared to what we expected and what my record is. We're 5-0, and we've been getting better and better each and every week. I think this Eagle team is going to be a real handful, and I'm excited to see them, but they're not quite the best team in the NFC. They're not quite the best team in the NFL. This team has yet to move from the power ranking spot of number 1, and every week they show they're on a mission. Okay, number 1, your San Francisco 49ers. What can I say about San Francisco? Got a top Dallas team coming into town, kind of a rival, played them back-to-back postseasons, and they took him behind the woodshed and did unthinkable things to this team, blew them out there. They just dominated this team up and down, left and right. They shut down the pass rush, the offensive line protected, and Brock Purdy, my man, is undefeated as a starting quarterback in games that he hasn't torn his UCL ligament in his elbow. He's just that dude. Now, we know he's a system quarterback, but he makes the system great. He doesn't have to worry about turning the ball over. The Shanahan offense eliminates turnovers. All you got to do is make simple reads and get the ball. And Brock Purdy is a talented quarterback. We were talking about a Heisman heading into his junior year at Iowa State. Turnovers just got to him, but when you eliminate those turnovers, he is as talented as any quarterback in this league. It's time to buy the Brock Purdy hype if you haven't already. He's probably a top 10 quarterback in this league right now. He throws a beautiful ball. He's very accurate, and he's starting to come into his own. Like, hey, man, I'm comfortable, and he's got that it factor. Big game, big time performance. George Kittle, welcome back. 3 tutties. You love to see it. Christian McCaffrey is that dude running the football. It's just, there's so much to stop. Let's not forget Brandon Ayuk and Deebo Samuel at wide receiver. It's just, there's so much going on with this offense. There's so much movement. There's so much motion. There's so much you have to deal with. It's just like, you can't stop this offensive unit, and the defense is solid. The pass rush is awesome. They get after people. They have maybe the best linebacking duo in the league in Greenlaw and Warner. The secondary is probably your worst part of your team, but when your front seven is that good, they can shut down the run. They can get after quarterbacks. It covers up for a lot of that back end, and their back end really isn't that bad. It's just not elite like the rest of this team. There's just so much to love about this 49ers team. If this team doesn't get to the Super Bowl, I would be devastated as a Niners fan. It's just, they're so overwhelming. This is Kyle Shanahan, obsessive, man on a mission. He's getting his Lombardi trophy, he said. And unless an injury bug strikes, I don't know how you stop this Niners team. But the injury bug is a real thing, because it feels like the Niners are always getting hurt. It's early, but man, it's a tall task for the rest of the league. But let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Who am I too high on? Who am I too low on? Where do you disagree with me with? It's been a lot of fun so far, 5 weeks down. We're going to start getting into the nitty gritty here as we move through October into November. It should be really interesting to see which teams start fully tanking for that Caleb Williams pick, because everybody going to want Caleb Williams. He's going to be that guy. So it'll be interesting to see how these things play out. But again, if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel, like this video, share it with your friends. If you want to support the channel even more, join down below to join these channel memberships. Gets a lot of cool perks, a lot of special features on the channel. Helps me out more, helps me make these great videos for you every single week and every single day. But again, like, subscribe, and share, and I'll see you all tomorrow.